It looks like Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs could be the team trending in a big way for the nation's #1 overall prospect. Of course, I'm talking about five-star quarterback Arch Manning, who was in Athens 2 weekends ago for a visit. And ever since then, for the last about week and a half, a lot of sources in Athens, close to the Georgia program, tell me that they really, really like where they sit with the five-star stud quarterback that we've heard all about. You know what his grandfather Archie did. You know what Peyton, Eli, his uncles did. This kid's a big deal. He's #1 quarterback prospect in the country. And a lot of people in Athens have felt really good about Georgia's chances, even back in the fall when he attended a game when South Carolina came to town. So we saw a night atmosphere in Sanford Stadium. And we've always reported that the Bulldogs have been towards the top of his list. I thought going into his weekend visit 2 weekends ago to Athens that Alabama and Texas could be the two teams out in front. I know sources outside of Athens told me that those two were very high on his list. But after this past weekend, knew Georgia was in the mix and could absolutely sign him. But there are a lot of people who think that they are trending in a big way. I think a commitment could come probably late April is what I was told. If it goes past that, probably an early summer decision. So I don't think he's going to take any other visits other than one last visit to Alabama before he makes a commitment. So I'm not ruling out Alabama or Texas just yet, but everyone I've been speaking to recently, especially ones close to the Georgia program, feel really good about the Bulldogs landing him. And that kind of goes to my next question, right? If he does end up signing with Georgia, like a lot of sources believe he will, what happens, right? Is he a guy who can be a day one type of starter? As good as he is, and he's really good, is he really better than a fourth-year Carson Beck, who, I'm assuming he's still with the program? Is he really better than a third-year Brock Vandegrift, a five-star himself, who I've seen multiple times out of high school, still trying to catch up, I think, to the speed of practices and going up against the level of competition compared to where he was at Prince Avenue. But the kid can sling it and he can move. Is Arch really going to beat him the second he gets on campus? What about Gunnar Stockton? The staff loved Gunnar Stockton when they were recruiting him. He does a lot of what Kirby likes. He's safe with the football. He's got a big arm, but he can also run and make plays with his legs. Arch can do that too, but I don't see him coming in and making a day one type of impact if he were to go to Georgia, of course. Carson Beck is really good, and he's the guy who I think has the reins on the #2 job right now. If no one leaves and you've got Carson Beck, Brock Vandegrift, Gunnar Stockton, and possibly Arch Manning, I think he's going to have to sit a little bit, right? I just don't think it's the best for the team to have a true freshman in there when you have all these experienced guys with big arms who have been in the program year after year, kind of sitting in the wings for a freshman. And then you're going to have a lot of guys kind of leave at that point. So it's going to be really interesting. I've always said whoever gets Arch, they're either going to look really good or really bad, right? You can either give him a shot really early, he goes off, kills it for you year one, you have him for 3 years or possibly build a championship type of program with him, or you let him sit, you kind of take some heat for it. This is not a guy who a lot of people want to wait on to watch. People want to get him out there and watch what he can do and see if he is the next great Manning, right? So if Kirby does land him, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to play Arch. Everyone remembers the pressure to play Justin Fields, and he only had one guy, Jake Fromm, ahead of him, and Jake Fromm was not exactly lighting it up, right? Depending on if Carson's the guy next year, or Brock, or Gunnar, or whoever, depending on how those guys are playing, it's going to be really tough for Arch to come in and take that job year one. But at the end of the day, Kirby's going to get a lot of pressure to play him. So for his sake, I hope Arch is the real deal because, and again, I think he is, but if he doesn't come out and just absolutely kill it, right, I think a lot of people are going to wonder, can Kirby and Todd develop this guy? What's going on? It's going to be really interesting to see where he goes in general. I do think it's probably Georgia and Texas, the top two. I just can't see him going to Alabama. I heard a lot about how the Tide were high on his list. They still could be, but I think it'd be really weird for his dad, his grandfather, even Peyton, to see Arch go to Alabama. And they've had quarterbacks come through, right, left and right. They've all been really, really good. So I understand why Alabama is highly considered. He wants to go to a place with a strong foundation, a winning program, the ability to win championships, and coaching stability, right? Alabama and Georgia both offer that way more than Texas does. And so that's why I think Georgia absolutely have always thought that Georgia had a really good shot. And Right now, if I had to make a decision today, from everything I've heard in the past week and a half, it would be Georgia as the team I would pick to land Arch right now. And again, I think he's narrowing down his recruitment, but I'm not sure he goes anywhere and starts day one, though. Texas has Quinn Ewers and the other five-star kid that they have. Alabama's going to continue. Bryce Young's going to be gone, so you kind of have a little bit of open competition there at Alabama if that's the route he chose to go. Maybe that is the place where he could play earlier between Georgia and Alabama. But at the end of the day, he's going to be really good, and I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the program and the head coach who ends up landing him in the end. But really good. I mean, #1 player in the country. But his last name is also Manning, so the expectations could not be any higher. Kirby lands those 5 stars, and if he lands Arch, I don't think that kid is going to be sitting for 2 years, right? You can probably, depending on who's playing in front of him, how well they are, you can probably sit Arch his first year, watch, learn, develop, continue to add muscle, so on and so on. But year 2, if he doesn't think he's going to be starting, dude's going to be leaving, and I would totally understand that and get that. So Arch is going to want to play. A lot of people are going to want to see Arch. So how long can he sit on the bench, no matter where he goes, but especially at Georgia? That's something that's going to be really interesting. If, in fact, he does commit to Georgia over in the next few weeks, probably, like a lot of people think he's going to do. So really appreciate everyone for watching. Hopefully we're going to have some inside nuggets, some scoop this weekend on what we're hearing. So make sure you go over to Dog Post and check that out. Hopefully a few more Arch Manning notes in there for you. So thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it, and I'll see you over on the website.